All right, so here we are with our our homework for week 3, day 3. So this one says, look at the parallelograms. Parallelograms are any shape that has two sets of parallel sides. So that means this one would be the same and this one would be the same. So when you ever see a hashtag like this or a mark like that, and then a mark like this and a mark like that, they are showing you that this side is parallel to this side. They're the same. So if you saw one like this that had this would show that none of the sides are the same. They would all be different and not equal. So that would be a quadrilateral, just a four-sided shape. So just so you know, in case you ever see that. All right, look at the parallelogram. Which two parallelograms have the same area? So we are going to have to figure all of this out. So there's a total of 8 problems, but we really have to do a few more than that to figure out which one they are. We're going to make sure that we look at the common units. They have common units, which is really important to pay attention to. And now we're going to figure out the area, which, remember, even if they give you the length of this side, it's base times height. So here we can use the 6, but we're not going to use whatever the length of this would be. We would use the height of the 90-degree angle from the base to the top. So we would do for the area 6 times 5 equals 30 centimeters. So this one is 30, so I'm going to circle that one. And this is base times height, which is 6 times 4. And remember this symbol right here, I did say that could be times as well. So that's what it is. Anyway, 6 times 4 is 24 centimeters. And actually, I forgot this. It should say squared, centimeters squared, because we're talking about area. And the other way to see multiplication, and I'm going to show you in this one, again, base times height. You can also see a problem that looks like this, which also means just to multiply. And that equals 24 centimeters squared. All right, so after we did all of these, it says, which two parallelograms have the same area? A and B. And I'm going to circle this as the same. I don't think I actually did it on the worksheet, but maybe I did. I can't remember. Now it says, find the unknown side length. So what we're going to have to do here is we're going to have to take the base or the area and divide it by the base. So in this one, we would take 48 and divide it by 8 to get the total, which would be the height, which would be 6 centimeters. Next one, that's another way to see division. We're going to take 99 and we're going to divide it by 9. And I always know that a double number like this is 11. So 33, 44, 66, 77, those are all going to be the multiples of 11. So this is going to equal 11 centimeters. I'm going to circle my answers too. I end up doing that because I feel like there's so many numbers on a page I don't actually know sometimes. All right, and here we have 96, and I'm going to show like this, which is the same as a fraction, which is the same. How many times can 8 go into 96, or 96 is divided by 8? That would equal 12 centimeters. So there we're at 12. This doesn't ask us any additional questions like the one above, asking, which one would be the length. Okay. Joe designed a flower bed shaped like a parallelogram. The flower bed has an area of 475 inches squared. The base is 25 inches. A flower bed, that's not very big at all. But that's okay. What is the height of Joe's flower bed? Has an area. So that means we're going to have to take 475 and we're going to divide it by 25. Now, you could get a calculator out, or you could say, this is like the same as a quarter. Pretend that there's, no decimals, but pretend. How many quarters are in 100? Where there's 4 quarters in 100. And I have 400. So I would have 4 plus 4, that's 100, 200, 300, 400. And I know if I had 4 quarters, or 3 quarters, that would get me to 75 cents, so plus 3. So 1, 2, 3, 4, which is 12, 16, 17, 18, 19. 19. The flower bed is an area. The base is 25 inches. What is the height? See, and this is when I feel like you should ask for length, because when I think of height now, I feel like we're talking about volume and filling the flower bed with dirt, but we're going to just go with it. And again, I can double check that. I would always double check. I tell the kids, I told the class before, we have calculators to check our work. That's the purpose. So don't ever feel like you shouldn't do it. So if I have 475, which is the number that I have here, and I'm going to divide it by 25, that would get me to 19. All right, next. So it says use the landscape design for exercises 6 through 8. Show your work. I'm not going to lie. I did this and I was definitely don't know if I would be like, anyway, not necessarily a fan of this, but we're going to go with it. How many square feet will the white stone cover in the landscape design? This part makes sense to me, but that's okay. We're talking about basically if you're doing a patio and you want this design of your patio to look almost, it's red, white, and blue. So some patriotic colors in there. How many square feet will the white stone cover in the landscape design? So you have white here and you have white here. And you have, they're telling us right here, it's a 3 foot edge, and this length of here is 4 feet. So this would be 4 feet. So ours is, I'm going to put this in here, 3 and 4. So area is length times width, but because this is a triangle, it would be divided by 2. So 3 times 4 is 12. 12 divided by 2 is 6. So each of these triangles is 6 feet. So it says how much will it cover? So I would do 3 times 4 divided by 2 equals 6. And so that's for one triangle. And then the other one would be the same. And then you could multiply this by 2 because there are 2 of them, which gets us to 12. How many square feet? We would have 12 feet squared. So that's how much square feet you would need of the stone in order to make that area. There is a 12-foot border, a 2-foot border, that's a big difference, of brick as shown around the design. How many square feet will the brick cover in the landscape design? So you have to know a couple things. First of all, what you could do is you can section this off. So I'm going to make 2 long ones like this. So this is one long side of the red brick, and this is another long side of the red brick. And then here we have another side of the red brick, but that's a shorter one. And here we know the total length of this whole thing. It's 2 feet plus 3 feet plus 5 feet plus 2 feet. So 2 plus 3 is 5 plus 5 is 10 plus 2 is 12. So we would have a 12-foot long section. And this is just like actually very applicable to a house, a wall, measuring a room, things that you're going to want to know how to do. So this length of this area is 12 feet. And we know that it's 2 feet all the way around. So from one side to one side is 2 feet. So this is 2 feet. So we have one long one so we have one 12-foot by 2 foot one. We have one that's 4 feet by 2 feet plus, so we're going to put our stuff in parentheses, plus, well, we have 2 of these, so 12 times 2 for this one, 12 times 2 for this one, plus 2 times 4 for each one of these. So we would have 2 of those. There's so many different ways that you can show your work for this. If you feel like you found another way and you end up with the same answer, I am totally fine with it. So 12 times 2 is 24, plus 24, plus 2 times 4 is 8, plus 8. Now, 24 and 44, 24 and 24 is 48. So we would have, it would be the same as 48 plus 16, because that's 8 plus 8 is 16, 24 and 24. And that would be the same. So this amount is the same as this amount, which is going to be the same as 64 feet squared. So, and I'm going to check my work on my calculator. I know that my numbers are right here. I'm just going to double check my adding. 24 plus 24 plus 8 plus 8 equals 64 feet squared, because we're talking about, and I'll put this again, 64 feet squared is what we're putting for our answer, so you can know that you're talking about area. What is the perimeter of the landscape? So like someone said, well, now you want to build a fence around it because you don't want anybody to mess up the area. So you would have to go, we would have to add the 12 and the length of this side. So the length of this side right here is 2 feet plus 4 feet plus 2 feet. So 2 plus 4 is 6 plus 2 is 8. So we have 12 feet plus 8 feet plus 12 feet plus 8 feet. So I'm going to add that. Or you could do 2 times 12 plus 8 times 2, because we have both of those. So there's lots of different ways to show this. 12 plus 12 plus 8 plus 8. Which is, if you look at this, we have the 8 and the 8 there, 12 and the 12. These are just, 24. So we're getting, obviously the area is much bigger than the perimeter. So 12 and 12 is 24. 8 and 8 is 16. Which again, this amount equals that amount. Which this amount, also 4 and 6 is 10. Plus 10 is 30, plus 10 is 20, plus 20 is 40. 40 feet. Not squared, just 40 feet, because it's the perimeter.